Welcome to the Newtown Big Dreams podcast, an interview-style talk show that's your gateway to the fabulous and fascinating people who relocated to start a new life. Whether you're new to our podcast or your city, our fellow neighbors from across Canada, North America, and the entire English-speaking world share their stories of reaching new horizons and big dreams. So sit back and relax as we navigate in-depth and intimate conversations with entrepreneurs, thought leaders, executives, creatives, and anyone who can share their story about their Newtown big dreams. And now, here's your host, Luke J. Menkes.
So, Olga, thank you for coming today.
Thanks for inviting me.
You came to Kelowna in 2013.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the story, why you chose to come here?
I feel like Kelowna chose me. I didn't even know where I was going exactly. Me and my ex, we started working remotely from Poland for the tech company from here, and they invited us over, and I tagged along. I didn't have to, but I figured, well, it's going to be an adventure, and it was pretty magical because our boss rented the place that we just looked at online. We had no idea how it's going to be, really.
Right.
And we arrived late at night, and the house looked cool, but we couldn't really see much outside. And the morning was magical because we just woke up and started discovering the yard, the neighborhood.
Wonderful.
It was right by Pritchard Park on Pritchard Drive.
Yeah.
In West Kelowna. So, yeah, I was amazed. So
did you know anything about Kelowna before you came?
I just looked it up on Google Maps, really.
Right.
I didn't know much.
And did I understand you correctly? You came all the way from Poland for a trip here.
Yes.
And the sun came up and you were in love with the city.
Yeah.
And so tell us what you do. I know you're an artist, you're into singing.
Yeah,
so tell us about your experience in Kelowna.
For many years, I have been a graphic designer, mostly freelance. And then I started doing more graphic design work after coming here. But I also started being called towards doing my art that I haven't had a chance to do much in Poland. And as I started doing art, I also started meeting great people and people who have encouraged me to go back to singing. This was something that I also abandoned, and somehow it started happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious about Poland. I've visited many countries in Europe, but never Poland. What's it like there? And how is it different from Kelowna?
How is it? The phone bills, energy bills, and banking, they're a lot cheaper.
Is that right?
And the drivers are a lot better. There's a sense of like efficiency on the road. This was, I think, that was the main thing that started bothering me since I came here. That people don't really pay much attention to other users of the road, and it was like, what's going on? I couldn't get it.
Right. And utility bills very cheap compared to here. Like, what would a typical electric bill be?
Depends on what kind of house, I guess, but be probably $20-$30 per month.
Wow. Much better. So you used to be a singer and an artist, and this was something that kind of faded away in your life, and you got back into it. How old were you when you first started singing and doing art?
I've been singing lots just by myself when I was a kid, and but it hasn't been really maintained until I went to the kind of college. I don't know. was around 16, and so I started getting some actual lessons, and yeah, it was interesting. Soon after that, I started singing in a couple bands.
In Poland?
In Poland,
yeah.
And I had great contacts, but when I passed my exams to the Academy of Fine Arts, and then this education continued for another 5 years, I didn't have time to do both, and kind of lost the contacts. It dissolved naturally.
Right. So what happened in Kelowna to get you back into art and to sing?
Since I was working part-time, I just had lots of free time, and I knew that it's something that I want to do, because everything here was so inspiring.
And you got involved with the Kelowna Arts Council.
Yes.
And tell us the story of how you connected with them. And
that's very interesting. I was standing outside my studio, talking to a busking friend, and another person joined in. I think it was Darian Saunders, and he heard me sing, because I was like shyly singing a little bit, and like, you should totally come to Songwriters Stewdio. That was I'm not sure if you are aware, but several years ago there was this initiative. Musicians would gather. They would pick someone's song, and then all of the musicians together would just jam along, and they would record it together.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so you started to get into that, and
I went there, and I was like, whoa, that's my dream.
So just filled with artists, so many artists.
Yes.
And you mentioned someone heard you shyly singing. So you were, do you feel like you've totally come out of your shell now and you can perform in front of people?
I would say I'm like 80% out of my shell.
You still get stage fright?
When I'm performing by myself, it's a little bit more intimidating. But when I'm with my band, there's nothing that's holding me back.
Right.
Yeah, it's good to have someone kind of holding you back, like holding your back, being supporting you. And
what's the name of your band?
My band's name is Beardy and the Beast.
And who came up with the name?
Oh no, actually I just joined them. They were already a band, and I stumbled upon them really at a rehearsal space. That's actually right next to the house that we're renting.
Right.
So I started singing, and then they heard me, and it kind of worked. Because they do like sing in harmonies, and I just joined singing harmonies, and that was some chemistry, and that's how it happened.
Nice. Do you perform live with the band?
Yes.
A lot?
Yes. Not a lot, not so much, but especially in winter, because one of the bandmates, his work is outside of town, quite far. He's running a lodge up in the mountains, so he doesn't have much time to come to winter. But it usually kind of lives up in the summer.
What kind of music would you describe it?
I would call it space folk.
Space folk. So is it like electronic with folk, or?
Not so much electronic, although I would say that the harmonies and what I'm adding to the mix gives this music a little bit more spaciousness and
interesting
weirdness.
Yeah. I wonder if you have a song that you could share. So we've had, I think, 7 or 8 musicians come on the show, and then we end the show with little audio of their performance or recorded track. So if you've got something you'd like to share with our audience, you could email it to us. That'd be great.
We'll do that.
And you believe that there's great health benefits, mental and physical health benefits to singing and dancing. Tell us a little bit about that, your discovery of the connection.
It is connected with my coming out of my shell. It was a long process, and part of it was just like believing in myself and that I can do that, like, and not judging myself.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I was really drawn to chanting, just like without any cultural backgrounds and connotations, just chanting, just releasing sound. And I've noticed that it's actually super like centering and quiets the mind a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that chanting is a really good thing to do for meditation. Mm-hmm. Like if when I tried to meditate, a lot of times I get very restless and I can't quiet the mind down. Mm-hmm. And I hear that chanting can really help the center.
Yes, exactly. It just shuts the mind off.
Right.
And you're focused on, you have to really focus on your breathing.
Right. There's
nothing else. It's just your voice.
And do the chants have any meaning in themselves? Like, are you saying a mantra or it's just like a sound?
I don't need mantras. I'm not mantras are a bit more devotional and they have other purposes, but kind of like prayers. Mm-hmm. It's not about that in my case. I just let it out, and sometimes it does come with emotional release of sorts.
Yeah. So it's the sound, it's the focus, and
yes,
yeah. And you've been diving into the subject of the mind-body connection. Mm-hmm. So you're reading books? Are you attending workshops?
Yes, attending some workshops, 5-rhythm dance workshops. But most of all, I'm joining the people on the floor every week. Mm-hmm. It's held at Italian Center every Thursday at 7. And we have a very tight, small group. And just come and leave everything behind the door. And it's similar, like, to chanting. You just have to listen to your body, what it tells you to do. Yeah. Just follow that. So there's a great connection here.
Right. And tell us about the Songwriters Stewdio. Mm-hmm. Where is it and what happens there?
Yeah, that's the Songwriters Stewdio. Is where it all started for me. Unfortunately, it's not happening anymore. It was
closed.
Yes, it was run by Kelowna Arts Council in cooperation with Music City Studios. Mm-hmm. It was a small recording studio. Now it has moved. And Mike Pedersen was running the studio. Still is, but it's just the location changed and kind of died off as many things change. But it was going on for a few years, I believe, and there were some. They have a SoundCloud account with several recordings that they have performed there.
Oh, okay.
So it's also worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Now, you described, I haven't seen your artwork, but in your bio, you described your art as somewhat crazy looking.
Yeah.
Can you describe it for us? Like, what does it look like? What kind of topics do you like to paint?
Yeah, that's the thing. I always felt kind of weird because I couldn't follow the rules. Yeah, like some people have their distinct style of painting. Mm-hmm. I was just searching and searching and searching, and I thought, well, maybe at some point I should actually focus on one thing, but it never came to me.
So everything you do looks different?
Yes, many things. There are like short series of things that might look similar, but they're very different.
Would you describe it as like abstract?
Some of them are abstract, but I would say it's a mixture of abstract and realism.
Mm. Do you have a website or an Instagram account where we can check some of that out?
I have a website. It's mindcrafted.ca.
Okay.
I'll probably have a solo show coming up on June 9th.
Okay.
At Milk Crate Records.
And you're going to be singing?
Yes.
Do you play any instruments as well?
I'm looping my voice and then improvising to that. I also play a bit of a piano, but it's not really my major. I just started, and so I'm not as good to come up on stage
right.
and perform. But I got myself a piano to compose music, and it helps with this.
Mm-hmm. And where, June 9th, where will that be?
Milk Crate Records.
Milk Crate Records. Trying to picture where that is.
It's on Lawrence.
Lawrence. So that's a recording studio. Is that right?
No, that's the record store.
Oh, yeah, right. So it's not too far from the Mama's, the pasta house there, the Italian restaurant, I think. But we'll find it. We'll put a link to it. Okay. That's great. All right. Anything else?
Well, my band released for their first EP on February 22. So our music is available online on iTunes and other.
Nice. That's Beardy and the Beast.
That's Beardy and the Beast.
Excellent.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Newtown Big Dreams podcast with your host, Luke Menkes, and his authentic guests. And we love our listeners and hope you subscribe now to learn more about the amazing journeys of our incredible guests who relocated to find a new town, big dreams. And remember, make your dreams big.